first down. Fires wide. Juan Daniels, touchdown, Georgia.
This is your favorite receiver, Juan Daniels, and you're listening to the DGD podcast with my man, Robert Reynolds. Go Dogs!
Well, oh, well, what a damn week it has been. As always, welcome to the DGD podcast, the NCDGD himself, Robert Reynolds. Look, I'm just gonna go jump right into this. Bear Alexander commits to Georgia, or recommits, I should say, right before we go on live. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen 24/7 or social media and you're tuning in, there you go. Obviously, we'll talk a little bit about more Georgia recruiting here coming up. A lot of things happened last week that we're going to talk about. Georgia's on a bye week, so it gives us a lot of time to reflect on things, and we'll do that. Juan Daniels will be on shortly, but let's jump right in. First things first, the DGD podcast is brought to you by La Terrain Watches. Great watches, affordable prices, Atlas, all black. Love that damn thing. Get it while you can. Very limited supply right now. Great comfort, things like that. Look, they got sunglasses as well, other accessories. Hop on it. Use code DGD at checkout to get 10% off your purchase, and that is la-terrain.com. I'll spell it out for those listening. la-touraine.com, and then use code DGD at checkout for 10% off. Let's jump right into the brigade first. Tanil Calvino jumps in before the show even got really kicking off and told me Bear recommitted to Georgia. Thanks, Tanil. And KTG just saying, yes, sir. How's everybody doing? Let's talk recruiting, guys. Let's talk recruiting first. Obviously, a big week in the state of recruiting right now. Obviously with the news about Bear, let's kind of backtrack just a little bit, right? As you can see, we have the chain on. Obviously, with all the commits going on, flip season. I love my damn pancakes because it is flip season. I love them. I love it, love it, love it. Anyways, started off Luther Burden makes his commitment, chooses Missouri over Georgia and Alabama. And really, to me, I think that was more of a, we could have used him for sure. But I also think that, with what we have in Cole Spear, that's a name that not a lot of people might realize. Cole Spear and Dylan Bell as well. I think you're going to see our receiving corps be just fine. Patrick Oliver says that makes 21 commits. Yes, that is 21 commits with Bears recommitment. That's a great seat, and also bumps up over Alabama now. Obviously, the season, it's still young when it comes to recruiting. Commitment recruits never stop. Recruiting never stops until not even anymore, with everything going on. But look, Georgia's picked up a ton of recruiting, right? Looking at Jaheim Singletary might be even close. He just announced on his Twitter that if he gets to 20K on Instagram, he'll make a commitment edit. Wow, or note or something. Lots going on right now, and I think it's really a rush to the races for spots for Georgia. It's wild to think this, but Michael Williams flipping yesterday, that was big news. Let's be honest here, as Gator haters, Shamar James decommitting from Florida, their top-ranked commit decommits right after a visit to Georgia. Coincidence? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. We'll talk about Florida a little bit later. Let's just say it's not going to be pleasant if you are a Gator fan listening, so just prepare yourself. Obviously, Georgia's recruiting a lot right now, the momentum, and the fact that we're on a bye week. I think you're going to see all the guys go in and just be relentless on the recruiting drill. I think that's just what's going to happen. So who knows what to expect? All I'm going to say, buckle up. It's going to be interesting for damn sure. It's really going to be interesting. But let's go ahead and kind of reflect here on Georgia's game against Kentucky. I think that was a great game. I really do. So we'll talk a little bit about Kentucky real quick. Great offensive game plan. Really great offensive game plan. Probably the best that Georgia's seen yet. And that's a testament to say that I feel that pretty comfortable with what we're expecting for the rest of the regular season. Obviously going to the SEC championship game could be a little bit different here. But nonetheless, I also think, I think we've set ourselves up and control our own fate for damn sure. With all the chaos going on, hell, Coastal Carolina went and lost in Boone last night for those watching. So anything can happen in this year. Georgia just needs to go in and take care of business. They do this against Kentucky. And you look at 30-13. I had called 30-10, so I was kind of upset, but at the same time, I've been pretty close to it. So I'm not going to be mad with those predictions. Tanil says it's a roller coaster. Down with Burden News, up with Michael, down with Milton, now up with Big Bear. Yeah, also Kendall Milton suffered a knee injury. He will be out a few weeks. I don't know how long exactly. So obviously hope that he gets well and back and ready to go. So that's thanks to Neil for bringing that up. Other than that, though, I saw a lot of debatable topics here from the Kentucky game, and I want to turn to the brigade here. So I want your thoughts on Stoops' call to call the timeout. I want to give them some time. I'm going to give the brigade some time to bring it up and see what they think here. Was it the right call for Stoops to call that timeout and score with less than 10 seconds left? Let me know what you think. I want to get that question out there. And I'll filibuster just a little bit. If you do not know what I'm talking about when I say the brigade or the Bones Brigade, that is the live chat section of the show. So if you want to join that, make sure you join the YouTube channel and hop in the comments. You can also do it on Facebook too, as in KTG and Patrick Oliver. But obviously, as people start popping in, I'm going to read another comment here from Patrick. Darnell looked good against UK, ready for Pickens to be back as well. Yes, absolutely. Looking at that right there, I think, is it crazy to think that Pickens could be back for Florida? Maybe, but he's doing well in his recovery. He hasn't been cleared yet. Look, I think it's only a matter of time before he gets cleared. And when he gets cleared, it's going to be bad and I mean bad for everybody else, because Georgia so far through 7 games has dominated with some craziness going on. Right. And we'll talk a little bit about this here now, actually. We'll do that. Looking through first 7 games, I want to say 6 points per game average, 6.6, I think it is, through 7 games, 62 rushing yards a game. You held the SEC leading rusher to 7 yards. Chris Rodriguez was held to 7 yards rushing Saturday. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. This defense, in my opinion, could go down in history as one of the best ever, at least statistically, but honestly, even through the eye test, just the eye test alone. Obviously, I think Georgia has to win the national title to be considered for that. But if that's the case and Georgia does indeed win a national title, that will definitely have to become an argument. It's just bound to. And one of the things that I really think this defense is benefiting from is a player like Jordan Davis, JD to NYC, hashtag that up. Let's go. Look, I think you could legitimately say that, I don't see it happening, but I think there's a legitimate a Heisman candidacy argument for Jordan Davis. I really do. And you're starting to see that around a lot of the Georgia beats, the media. Feinbaum even said it. Like, it makes too much sense to me. Best player on the best team in the face of the program, especially on the defense, is Jordan Davis. And people want to sit there and push stats out there, right? It's more than stats. It's more. It's how important are you, right? And I think this is where people need to really understand and come to an agreement on what the Heisman means. Like, what is the Heisman? How do you win the Heisman? Is it a statistical award? Because it seems to be. It damn sure seems to be, at least in recent years. Because most of the time it's been quarterbacks. but they're not even on the best team. What does it mean? What does the Heisman Trophy mean? What is it? How do you get it? Is it statistics? Is it importance? Because if it's importance, you cannot sit here and argue that Jordan Davis is one of the most important players in America, especially on Georgia, and he's on the best team. I'm really curious to see how they look at that, and it wouldn't surprise me to see it go to a guy like Spencer Riddler, or what's his name, Riddler from Cincinnati. You might even Caleb Williams has been even talked about that. I don't believe that. It's way too damn late in the season. You never know. No one knows with the Heisman stuff, so no one knows. But is it difficult for a defensive line to do it? Absolutely. I don't think it happens. He just doesn't play enough. And the crazy thing is because you don't need him on third downs. You don't. I want to say he gets about 25, 35 snaps a game, I think. And most all of them are, first and second down? But he absolutely dominates on first down and second down. You have 2 to 3 guys blocking him every single play that he's on the field. You can't run on Georgia, and it starts up front with him. There's a reason why you're seeing averaging 62 yards. Chris Rodriguez 7 yards. It starts with Jordan Davis. It allows guys like Nakobe Dean, Channing Tindall to run free, untouched, all the time. All the time. Green Soldier says, yo. Hope everybody is having a great day so far. But obviously, like I said, there's that case for Jordan Davis to be made a Heisman. If I had my chance, I would. I think the Heisman should be the best player on the best team. And it's like an MVP award, I would think. You got the Maxwell if you want to do a quarterback award. Yeah, Patrick says his mini-me is pretty damn good, referring to Jalen Carter. Yeah, dude is fucking dope. It's amazing. It's just downright scary. It really is. And Green Soldier here also brings up a great point about Jordan Davis. He represents a selflessness on the defense. He averages 2 blockers every snap. Yeah, you can't guard the guy. You really can't. You can't. It's scary. Just go back and watch his tape. I'm going to give a shout out to Brooks Austin. His film studies, ridiculous. Lovely. Go back and watch go to his YouTube channel. Brooks Austin, find his Jordan tape, Jordan Davis film study. Watch it, and you will understand what I'm talking about. He's unblockable, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. That's how important he is. It really is important. Also, real fast, we have Juan Daniels waiting, but we're going to talk about the Veterans Day show, November 5th, noon. Obviously, I will not be here. I'll be on vacation, basically for Veterans Day, so I'm going to do it the week of, so November 5th, that Friday. Veterans Day, looking to have a great time talking some football and military stories, so tune into that. I'm looking forward to it. That is November 5th at noon. And now we have Mr. Juan Daniels himself. Welcome, sir.
Hey,
how are you?
what's going on? Go Dogs, go Dogs.
Go Dogs. I've seen that tweet so many damn times this week. I'm loving it. I need it injected into my veins. It's ooh, the chain. My neck's getting tired, man. This chain's staying on. So
it's been an awesome week. Awesome.
I know. Look, everybody, you can point to, Missouri with Burden, right? But that kind of triggered this momentum recruiting. I love saying this, and you can argue till the cows come home on this one. Kirby Smart is a momentum recruiter, and so is Georgia, and it's no question about it. And this is an example right here. We can go back through history, but this is momentum recruiting, if you ask me.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. I mean, the train is rolling. I am in a group on Facebook, and somebody asked Denylon, they're like, hey man, what's going on? And he's just basically like, hey, everybody wants to be a dog. And right now, everybody wants to be a dog. And that's a great thing happening.
Oh, absolutely. I think there's a race to the finish, in my opinion, because you look at the product that Georgia's putting out, and while you were coming on, I was just going through some stats through the first 7 games, and a little bit about Kentucky. Look, giving up about 6.6 points per game through 7 games, holding Chris Rodriguez, to the SEC leading rusher, to 7 yards total. That right there is just a testament to how dominant of a defense you're seeing. Add that to the efficiency on the offense. Look, this is something in my lifetime that I've never seen. We may be watching some work right in front of our eyes. Just soak it in. That's all I'm saying. Just soak it in.
Yeah, and like you said, you haven't seen it, but I have. We're going back to those 1980s. And you just talk about Irk Russell and those junkyard dogs and just the atmosphere and everything right now. So as a Georgia fan, my heart's starting to flutter. It's just, I'm just getting that type of excitement. Like, we've been here before, and I think it's about to happen again. We've got a special group of players this year, and it's finally here, where these guys, they love each other. I saw another post where somebody was like, "Hey, I'm praying that no one gets in trouble this weekend on the off weekend. No one does anything crazy." This team is different. I don't have that fear of our players going out there and celebrating and being on this crazy roll and being excited, and yet going out there doing something, that's going to hurt the team. These guys love each other. You've got Dean, you've got Jordan Davis, that probably are more of take more of a leadership role than the coaches do. Those guys, if I'm a Georgia player, those are 2 guys I'm going to fear. And if they tell me to do something, I'm going to do it. If they tell me, hey, go out and enjoy yourself this weekend, but don't do anything stupid because we've got something great going on, I'm going to do it. So it's just a different vibe. We're just in a different place, and it is very exciting.
I think you mentioned a great point here, and I think you look at the leaders of this team. You look at, obviously JT, in my opinion, leading the offense. I think you see a lot of his character form of leadership as well. And, it all starts in the off. It all started to be in the off season, right? With, leading in from that Cincinnati win, right? Everybody's on a high, more high. And then you start to see guys come back, right? You see Jordan Davis and Devontae Wyatt. You see Zeus and James Cook. All these guys coming back. To me, that was when it started to really click that, hey, look, these guys are buying in to what they're trying to do. They talk about the revenge tour, right? Bring it back. When you see these guys coming back and making this commitment to come back, and then it transfers, obviously over the break, you see JT take out a bunch of receivers to California. You see things like that. And to me, a reflection throughout this whole offseason into, to where we are right now. I think it started there and it just built. And it just avalanched, guys policing themselves, not doing stupid things. This time last year, we had LeCount get hurt. A bunch of guys got hurt. So we're fortunate not to have that many injuries, even though we're still banged up. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like last year with the motorcycle injury, things like that. Seeing that stuff. And to me, that matters. I think that's a guy understanding what they need to do. They're locked in, no questions asked. They take care of business every single game. They're going to handle the bye week like champions. Come back. Look, you get to demolish Florida and embarrass Florida next week, which we're going to have some fun talking about that.
Yeah.
Look, Florida's licking their wounds right now when they shouldn't have even had any from LSU. Gave up 286 yards, I think, to Price Davis.
Yes, they did.
That is rough. That is rough. But, all of that kind of trickles into the domination we're seeing. Those guys come back. Jordan Davis, Devontae Wyatt are playing lights out. Everybody knew Jordan Davis was going to be an impact player. Devontae Wyatt tries to one-up him. And then you look at, Zeus running lights out, physical, elusive, right? Things like that. James Cook running a lot better. So these guys came back and they're playing with a vengeance. And to me, as a Georgia fan, I'm loving every bit of it.
Yes, indeed. It's exciting times, and I really feel like that they're going to go have an opportunity to just kind of heal, rest up, there's rumblings of Pickens coming back into the fold. And so, those are things, you've got JT Daniels with an additional week to heal and just to do some different things. And then, of course, those guys have an opportunity to bond. Things can only go up from here.
Absolutely. I want to. It looks like somebody said you finally rolled out of bed.
Yeah.
I don't know who it was. However,
it's a Facebook. I actually just came from the hair salon, so I don't. Not really sure where they got that from, but
hey, you know what? I mean, look, you roll out of bed too late, man. You're going to be missing some Go Dogs tweets and things like that in recruiting. Look, which brings me to my question here from the brigade. Green Soldier asks, where are we at class ranking now with Bear and Michael Williams coming back into the class, or Bear coming back in and Michael committing to Georgia? Right now for the composite rankings, Green, we are first. I want to say about 292 points compared to 287 for Bama. Although Bama does have a few recruits less, nonetheless, we're still number one right now. Look, I don't think it's ending soon. I think you're about to see fireworks just popping off, right, with some huge names coming down the track. But we'll wait and see what happens. And while we wait, I am all for that because right now Georgia's playing lights out. There's no question. I was about to say arguably. There is no argument here. Georgia is the best country or best team in the country right now. So, when it comes to recruiting, production speaks for itself. People come to Athens, see the defense play the lights out, see receivers getting passes thrown all their way all the time. Brock Bowers, Darnell leaping people, hurdling people. Why would you not want to play at Georgia right now? And I think you're starting to see that. But Juan, I want to ask you here with Michael and Bear now. To Georgia, from your opinion.
Okay, say it again. You cut out. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. So with Juan, with Michael Williams and Bear now in the fold for the defensive line, add that to Tyree West, Darius Smith. Obviously what we're seeing on defense now is going to look different because you can't really replicate Jordan Davis's size. But what do those guys bring to the offensive line in the years to come?
What are your thoughts on that? We have a situation where we're not going to have to rebuild. We're reloading. And for them to come in, they're going to have to go and who doesn't want to come to Georgia to compete for a spot? And so in order to compete, you're going to have to go against the best of the best. And so, you're going to have good on good, and they're only going to make each other better. And it's going to be scary for a lot of these opposing offenses. I mean, even if they are struggling and having difficulty with our line now, again, you've got some guys that are coming in that are going to be just as hungry. They want what every kid that goes to college wants. They want a championship. What better place to go for a championship run than to go to Georgia? So what they're going to add is, again, they're going to add that depth that we've been needing for years and years, just like our quarterback situation. I mean, we have a great problem at quarterback. We have depth like any other. I mean, anytime that your number one guy is out, we all thought it was going to be Carson Beck. Let's be honest. And but then you've got Stetson that comes in, and that's not to say that Carson Beck is just not as good. Is not as good. However, if Stetson goes down, we do have Carson Beck, and we've got other guys that are waiting in the fold. And so that's what the defensive line is basically going to provide for us, throughout the years to come.
Yeah, looking at that right here, I think these guys are also seeing the ability to play early, even with as much talent as we have in the defensive line room. Kirby Smart's willingness to rotate guys in constantly, and the quality depth that we have. Like you put in Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter starts anywhere in the country, but he's backing up somebody at Georgia, and that obviously backing up Jordan Davis. However, next year when Davis is gone, I don't see if you really miss a beat. A little bit, I think, just because you can't replicate that size and athleticism of Jordan Davis, at 340, 350 pounds, moving that fast.
You absolutely can't
find somebody like that. But I'll be damned if I don't want Jalen Carter on my team, because I've watched him get block 3 people at one time.
Yeah.
Busting double teams himself.
Yeah.
So Yeah, you bring in Bear Alexander, right? You look at Bear Alexander, transfers to IMG, which, look, I'm just saying IMG, when he transferred to play at IMG, I felt great about Georgia's chances. Georgia has a great track record with IMG, kind of writing on the wall to me, but obviously with the kind of guy like that right there, you never know. Obviously now we know that he is with Georgia, but I think he brings in that kind of presence that you need for a true nose tackle, right? You look at Darius Smith, more of your Adam Anderson edge type, right? Real lanky, 6'6", kind of 225 or something like that. I probably project him probably about 230 or so, and just rushing off the edge, or like a end technique, but obviously you look at, Devontae White will be gone, right? Jalen Carter will be there. I'm ready for Notorious TID. I can't wait to see what he's about. I loved watching him, watching his tape before he committed and everything and signed. Georgia's in a good place. And, you're going to look, all these guys on the defense, I have a feeling about, there's no doubt about it. All these guys we're watching on this defense are going to get drafted, or they're going to play in the NFL. With that being said, recruits know that too. Come in, play your role, get drafted. And I think Georgia's starting to turn that corner where, in the years past, D-line didn't really get drafted. They really didn't. There's no argument to me how Jordan Davis is playing. There's no reason to believe that he's not a first-round pick, if not early first-round pick. He's just that impactful. He literally takes two blockers, and the defensive nightmare or the offensive nightmares that causes, NFL scouts have to be salivating over that. They look at Nakobe Dean, salivating over his instincts and speed. Channing Tindall, speed, instincts. All this stuff seen, coverage, hitting, all this stuff that we're seeing, the NFL scouts are seeing the same thing and then some. But recruits see this as a chance to come in and make their impact. There's a chance you could see Malachi Starks come in and start as a freshman at safety.
Yeah.
Why would you not want to come in and play for Georgia at that point?
Yeah, well, look at it. I mean, what was the biggest question on Georgia's defense coming into this year? And it was the secondary. And the secondary has played lights out. And, you graduate a lot of people and you're thinking, okay, well, we're going to have to rebuild, or we're just going to have to make some things happen. And no, those guys stepped up this year and they've done an unbelievable, amazing job. So again, like the Malachi Starks of the world is looking at it like, man, I would love to have the opportunity to come in there and play. You look at, the other Denylon. Denylon is looking as a receiver to say, man, like, you got Brock Bowers that came in there and played as a freshman. You've got, McConkey who's going in there, he's playing. And you've got these other guys that, and you never know, you're going to have injuries and things are going to happen. But if I go there, I have an opportunity to play and to contribute early. Why would you not want to? Plus, again, you're playing on the biggest and best team, in the country right now. Like there is no question, the University of Georgia Bulldogs are the best team hands down. And you hate to have this old adage, but the only team that can really beat them or match up with them is themselves, and that's it.
Yeah, I mean you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
Yeah, if they lose a game, or if something happens or they play bad, it's on them. But what I love about the first half and, going into this bye week is there has been no question. There is no doubt. There's not a team that can look and say, man, we had an opportunity to beat them and we just didn't do it. This isn't a Florida, Alabama situation or anything like that. It has been clear cut. No doubt. You pretty much got ran over, and that's that. And I love it. Absolutely love it.
I mean, obviously there's a reason why, unanimous number one team right now. And to your point, obviously I think you have to look at what lies ahead, right? You look at a Florida team. Anything can happen in the cocktail party. You know this because you've played there, watching it enough. You just kind of know that it's a crazy game. Anything can happen, especially around Halloween time. Look, the heebie-jeebies, voodoo stuff. That shit's real.
Yeah.
Okay, that's real. But you look at this Florida team, and look, Florida's down. And I was actually talking to some people earlier today. Is it me, or is it crazy to believe that Florida has, with Dan Mullen there, and what was perfect transition to this, is it me, or Florida seems to be kind of trending like the old Mississippi State when he was there?
Say that again. Say it one more time.
So with Florida, I think we handled Florida in the cocktail party, but to me, it seems like Florida has trended back into a situation where they look to be like a Mississippi State when Mullen was there coaching Mississippi State.
Yeah.
And it's not the Florida of old that we're used to. Florida, in my opinion, Florida should be way ahead of where they are right now. They should not be doing that, giving up 280 some yards to one guy on offense or on defense. They're recruiting. Like, there's so much going on right now that just you could tell Florida's down. So Georgia's going to, let's just say this, Georgia's going to kick Florida's ass in the cocktail party. If I'm wrong, somebody put this on Twitter, social media. I don't care, but Florida is not in a good spot right now, and I think that's a testament to really the coaching there with Dan Mullen.
Well, Florida's lost its dominance, and I'll say that because you've got a Kentucky team that comes in, and I think it's been since '86, Florida has owned Kentucky. I mean, it was just an automatic given, and the fact that Kentucky came out there and beat them. Not only did they beat them, they absolutely smoked LSU. LSU turned around and beats Florida. And so Florida they're reeling right now. And the best thing that we could do as a Georgia Bulldog team is to absolutely obliterate them. I mean, we do not want them to even have a thought of them having a chance to come and upset us and, have this miracle in the swamp. We need to absolutely just obliterate them. And I know that that's going to happen.
I mean, I'm with you 100%. I think the way, and look, there's a reason why we're as confident as we are. If you're watching this or you're listening to this, it's because, one, Kirby Smart won't let what happened last year happen again. It's just not in his blood. You've played with him. You know how serious he takes these rivalry games. He takes them to heart. So when he got beat last year, I guarantee you he makes a statement against Florida. It's coming, and there's no question about it. I don't see Georgia letting off the gas at all against the cocktail party. I don't see it, which honestly I haven't saw that much at all this year, really. You even look to turn to see more run game, but it's still effective, and we're rushing and we're pushing the field, killing the clock, and really scoring even when we're just running. You look at Auburn, we were still able to score when they knew that it was coming. They couldn't stop it.
Yeah.
People can say the conservatism is still there, but it also eliminates, for the most part, the risk of injuring your quarterback and star play. Not saying that you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But when you have four running backs as well, why not use them?
Yeah. Agreed. But I like I'm looking here what Tripp said. Tripp says, 51-17 dogs, and he's being generous. I was
thinking the same thing.
I'm gonna go I'd go like 58-3. Something like that. I think this is gonna be, because Kirby was there with me for those times that we were plagued by Florida, and I think I want to say his senior year maybe. They finally beat Florida in Jacksonville. But we were on the ends of some absolute beatdowns, and so I'm with Tripp. I just think that it's going to be just a little bit more drastic than a 51-17. I think it's going to be an absolute just hammering.
You look at what Georgia can do defensively. You stop the run game. What is Florida's strengths on offense? A running quarterback. Yeah. They can't pass. They're not really that great with passing deep. Emory Jones especially. I'm more worried about AR-15.
Yeah, he's tough. He's good.
That kid is an athlete, and that kid's not scared to throw the ball deep.
Yeah. So he got he had a tough time last week. He got benched benched one time, for throwing picks. But again, then he comes back in there and he's leading his team down the field. So. It's like I said, he is definitely one of those guys that you have to watch out for, but he hadn't seen our defense. It's these guys that are these mobile guys like Levis of last week, and you got Jefferson, all of these guys. They again, it's all fun and games until as Tripp say, you get donkey punched. It's all fun and games until, you get hammered. And they just, you can see it on film, but you just can't prepare for it. You do not have the scout defense. You don't have your regular first string defense that's going to prepare you for what you're about to face with the Georgia defense.
Looking at Tripp here, I couldn't help but laugh. Tripp, thank you for that. But that's probably the best way to put it. What we're expecting on the cocktail party when it comes in 9 days or next weekend. But enough about the cocktail party. Let's talk about Tennessee. Let's talk about Tennessee. All right. Look. I'm telling you right now, and I want to hear your thoughts on this too. The whole trash thing, right? The whole throwing trash into the stands or from the stands to the field. To me, it overshadowed what was a great game. And not enough people are talking about how good the game was. I understand what caused the trash, right? I understand it was kind of a buildup to it, right? Which everybody knows that this year, I mean, not just this year, but really on display this year, the SEC officiating crews are trash, literally, like figuratively speaking here, right? They're not good. It's inconsistent, bad calling, no calls, right? Be consistent. I would rather you be consistently bad than be so inconsistent. You know what I mean? Because you can adapt to the instability, or the no calls, or the calls all the time. You can adjust to that, but when you're hit and miss, that's when it just blows over. And look, I want to say, from a Dog fan, I'm going to take my hat off. I'm taking my G hat off. I'm sorry to the Tennessee fans that are the good Tennessee fans, because the people there Saturday, the students and whoever decided to throw shit onto the field, they're making you look bad. I understand you're loyal to your team. I respect it. And I apologize for those people to do that. And this is coming from a Georgia fan, because the good Tennessee fans deserve better than that. They really do. Whatever happens Saturday, golf balls, mustard can, whatever, like, it can be joked about, but it's uncalled. It's inexcusable for those people to do what they do. And the real Tennessee fans, the loyal, faithful, good fans, deserve way better than that. They just do, because you overshadowed, their actions overshadowed a great game all the way up until the end of the game, a completely great game, and you just overshadowed it with your classlessness. So I apologize to the good Tennessee fans out there, because you deserve better.
Yeah, and you're right. And I've played in Neyland Stadium, and I've just played, Tennessee fans, number one, are one of the most loyal group of fans. First and foremost, they're loud. They are a proud group. One of the things that my dad lives in Cincinnati, and he came down to Neyland Stadium to watch a game, and he says that they were the most nicest, loyal, polite, respectful fans that he's ever met. I mean, he's never he's obviously a Georgia fan, had on his Georgia stuff, and they were begging him to tailgate and have fun and all that other kinds, and so you're going to have those fans that are going to do, terrible things. And then, of course, you'll have people, media, they'll go and they'll take and run with it. And it's, 1, 2 people, 3, 4 people that make an entire, a team and a group of fans look bad. And that was not necessarily the case.
Yeah. I mean, look, I understand, watching that game, right? Watching what I did, I understand that the call at the time, you know what I mean? Like, I understand the frustration. Do it in a different way, right? Like, there's no reason, because you're not only, you're showing one thing, but you're also endangering people out there that don't deserve to be in danger. You put people in danger when you throw golf balls and you throw mustard and water bottles, especially if you're up top. That could definitely hurt somebody. So, it's really low to see that. And it should be, it's inexcusable at any level. I don't care what it is. But, like I said, the good Tennessee fans, I hate, I don't like Tennessee. I don't care for them. But like you said, they are some of the most loyal fans to and I feel like they deserve better than that. So for me, I'm not going to let that trash gate kind of skew my vision of what Tennessee is, because Tennessee is actually doing fairly well this season. And we'll talk about that later when we go to play them. But they can actually move the ball on offense, right? Especially if Hendon Hooker is there. Their defense isn't as bad considering the amount of the exodus that you could call when Heupel was in and everybody left, right? They're doing actually not too bad. They're on the verge of a bowl game here by year end, things like that, right? And Jay here also wants to say this. He said golf balls are a little extreme. Who brings a damn golf ball into a stadium?
Well, who brings a bottle of mustard?
Where did you get it? Like,
yeah.
Did you rush? Did you like bum rush? Like, I feel like I could vision the mob, right? Like some Tennessee mobs in their checkered overalls, like, give me the mustard, give me the mustard.
Right.
And just,
right.
I need to throw it. Like, I'm surprised you didn't see it ketchup and relish too, or actual food, right? I'm surprised you didn't see an actual hot dog,
Yeah.
Maybe a McDonald's McChicken or something. But no, I mean, enough joking aside here. Honestly, like I said, it's really it's really bad to see people do that, right? And like I said, it shouldn't happen anywhere. Everybody looks at Bottlegate from Cleveland, right? I had a friend that was actually there and said it was chaotic, and honestly, looking at it, it's scary, because if I have my son and I wanted to take him to a game, I have to really second guess myself if I'm a Tennessee fan trying to do that, right? If Georgia did it, I would definitely be I would be questioning it, because now you're putting fear into me because of my parental skills, right? My instincts just start popping off.
Right.
But it goes farther than even that. What are you showing to recruits? You had Walter Nolan, the number 2 guy in the country, at your game, and you throw everything you can except the kitchen sink. I'm surprised you didn't say kitchen sink on the field. And if his parents are there and his family's there, why would they want him to go to Tennessee now?
Right.
So
you're absolutely
I understand you're pissed off. I get it. But look at the ramifications that you've posed now to not only, to recruits, which you want your team to do better. That's how you get them. You get there and bring them in, show them the great environment, right? Show them the good things. Great game. That right there just overshadowed everything. It's not even close.
Yeah.
And Jay Scheich thinks that the mustard bottle held liquor. I feel like I just don't want mustard. I don't want a mustard-based liquor. I don't think that sounds good. But he's probably right. It probably has some liquor in it. And then, look, the $250,000 fine. People are saying that that's not enough. And financially, with how things are there right now, I think that's a lot of money. But bringing and doing investigations and trying to get people banned from the stadium, things like that. Like, maybe in the offseason, I have a feeling there's going to be some, I guess you could say, some analysis to try to figure out a way to properly, kind of keep these people safe, just in case something like this ever happens again.
Right.
So, I think you see measures being taken in the offseason, whether it be, cutting off alcohol sales, which scares everybody in Tennessee probably.
Yeah.
Because that hurts the stadium even more, because they're taking that revenue. You cut a revenue source off right there, that hit the pockets. That's how you make it work.
Yep.
But look, the people that understand, like, looking outside of that, great game. It was a great game. It was actually better defense than I was expecting from both teams, honestly. Look, Milton needed to throw that football. I understand the, nerves and everything, but you got to throw that football.
Yeah.
But we ain't gonna talk too much about that. We'll talk with Tennessee when we get ready for Tennessee week. But I definitely wanted to bring that up. And listen, any Tennessee fans listening, look, go back and listen to what I just said. I'm gonna throw a jab about it, right? You're gonna hear me throw jabs, but it's all in good fun, and I'm not gonna hold it against you, because I know there's actually good fans. And look, and there's a majority of them that are good fans, not the shitty ones you saw Saturday. That's all I'm gonna say there.
Yeah, I like Jay. Jay said,
Jay,
the person that threw the golf ball. Accuracy has been missing in Tennessee's QB room. That is classic. That is.
But
awesome.
it's so accurate.
Yeah.
It hurts so bad.
No pun intended. No pun intended.
No, I think he meant that. I think there was some pun behind it too.
No, I'm talking about you when you were like, he's so accurate.
Oh, yes. I didn't even think about that, but thank you. No, yes, Jay, thank you. That might be the comment of the day right there. That might be the comment of the day.
For sure.
That hold on. I got to post that up. There we go, guys. We're going to
Yeah.
leave that one hanging for a little bit. I want y'all to read that if you're watching. I'm just going to leave it there. Oh, my
That's
God.
great.
Trip with Top Golf. Guys, if y'all are going to put comments like this, just keep them coming so I can read these. Look, I'll gladly take a session in a moment to laugh at some of these. I don't care. I don't care. Look, obviously, Juan, Georgia on a bye week. First half of the season. What is your favorite, or what is your key takeaway for the first 7 games? Key takeaways, or or a surprise. What surprised you the most?
The surprise is Georgia just not letting off the gas and them beating teams like they're supposed to. And Georgia starting to act like a championship squad. And this is what's been missing for a number of years. And obviously nothing against Mark Richt and in Kirby's first years, but it was let's just get here and play that gentleman's game of football. But now it's one of those things that you sit there and you look at the molds of the LSU's and Clemson's and the Alabamas, and they just completely dominated teams each and every week, and they acted like champions. And so finally, the surprise to me is one thing. We have hopes and dreams for the season, and so sick of hearing this is our year, but then they just don't act like it. They're acting like it this year, and it's just a different vibe. It's a different Georgia football team.
I like it, and I'll tell you mine here, because my biggest surprise was 3 game days in one season. Because before the season, looking back on it now, I was absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. Couldn't be farther from wrong. Couldn't be more wrong. I was expecting our home schedule to be absolute dog shit, in all honesty, because I knew Arkansas was going to be better, right? I knew they were going to be better, but you still didn't see anything close to what they did. Auburn's going to be tough because it's Jordan Hare. Kentucky, I knew they were going to be tough, but I didn't see them being ranked as high as they were. The fact that you have 3 game days, and I wouldn't put it past game day goes to the cocktail party.
Yeah. Well, no. If
Florida's down too bad. I wouldn't say that.
Yeah. If Florida was even halfway decent, I could see that. But yeah, they're bad.
So that might be the last one we see in Athens or whatever for the year. But I was really caught off guard with how well our schedule actually turned out to be, because the games that I knew were going to be tough, like your Kentucky game, just played physical. I did not expect it to have game day and things like that. So my biggest surprise was 3 game days instead of 1, because everybody knew Clemson and Georgia, right, at the time. Not everybody knew that, but nobody expected to see Arkansas, Georgia, Arkansas at a noon at that. Nobody saw that coming, in my opinion, until Arkansas beat Texas and then A&M. Yeah, I didn't see it until then. I was like, oh shit, we actually okay. And I think a second one, though, I'll run a second one by you. The level of defensive domination. I knew our defense was going to be good. I did not think it was going to be that good. And if we continue the same way that we did our first 7 games, I don't see nobody, even in the championship game, getting more than 14, 15 on us. Nope. Definitely more, anything over 20, nothing over 20. It's just how elite it is, right? Like if things hold, like I said, all things staying constant, I don't see anybody throwing up 21 or more.
No, I'm interested to see, and if you have the way that Texas A&M dominated Alabama's offensive line and just their offensive, I would love to see that matchup, but I don't know if Alabama's going to get there. Alabama still has Arkansas. They still have Auburn. So there's a good chance that they may not get there. So it'll be interesting to see that. I don't see any of the other teams doing very well, in that championship series. You've got Cincinnati, who I don't see them faring very well against, Cincinnati will be facing a different ball club than they did last year. Trust me on that. And then, other teams, the Michigans and the Ohio States, I just don't see it. I really don't.
Yep.
My other surprise, though, my surprise really was, just really, I was expecting a lot out of JT Daniels, and he just has not been there. But the other surprise is the maturity of Stetson Bennett in 1 year. He went from, just going in there being a fill-in to he now has I'm the guy mentality. Like, I'm the guy. And so for him to play as well as he did against Arkansas, as well as he did against Auburn, as well as he did against Kentucky, was awesome. I mean, it really was. It was great, and he plays like he's the guy. And so it's when they say what a difference a year makes, you can clearly see the type of quarterback and the type of leader that he is. And and we do have a little bit of a quarterback controversy because it's almost kind of hard to unseat him right now, if we're being honest.
Yeah. Look, I'm still under the notion that it's JT's team, but you can't go without saying that there is somewhat, right? I tried to avoid it. I know, in my opinion, I still don't think there is, but I can, for what I'm seeing right now with the efficiency that Georgia's been going through 7 games and every game that Stetson has played, I'm starting to really understand the logic for somebody to think that there is a controversy there. It's just unavoidable at this point. And look, Stetson has played great football. One of the main things that he's done has protected the football. And you look at games last year, everybody wants to put this Bama game as what Stetson is. Stetson is a completely different ball player this year. And watch the tape, watch the games, go back and watch. You don't see him making now. I guess you could say I've seen him. For the most part, to me, he's been protecting the ball a lot better. And he also hasn't had that much of, weight on his shoulders because of the balance, right? Mm-hmm. We have weapons that are ready to go and can make plays. All he's got to do is just get it there. You look at the run game and the run and blocking ability, right? The ability to sit there and just run the ball. It turns you into a game manager, but he's more than a game manager. But he also has the athletic ability to make plays there as well. And to me, I wouldn't say a night and day difference, but you can definitely see a significant improvement from where we were last year with Stetson Bennett.
Agreed. Definitely agreed on that.
With that being said, we're going to wrap it up and get ready for our Q&A one. I know we'll probably do a little bit of that. But look, everybody, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, if you're watching, like, subscribe, ring the bell if you're on YouTube, get notifications when we go live here. Wherever you get your podcast, you can listen in, tune in. Look, I want to have everybody have a great day. Georgia is just heating up and staying hot as hell on the recruiting trail. And I wouldn't be surprised if we have something coming on tomorrow, Juan, and talking about somebody else committing. You never know with how Kirby's doing right now.
That's true. That's true.
With that being said, have a great day and go Dogs.
Go Dogs.
This is the DGD podcast. Go Dogs.
All right, guys, we're back with the Q&A for the brigade. Let's jump this here. We'll have to cut this kind of short. This kind of ran over a little bit, so my apologies there. Maybe tomorrow we can hop in and do a little bit longer Q&A. But I want to read Jay's comments here, Juan. Who is the third best SC team in your eyes at the moment? Kentucky, Ole Miss, or Auburn? I love these 3-piece questions. I do. I'm looking at this right here. I think you look at Kentucky as being the third. Definitely Ole Miss. I understand. But when it comes to me right there, you look at Kentucky's physicality and the ability to be balanced. Ole Miss, all you have to do is just score more points than them. Auburn's getting there. I don't think they're there yet. But Kentucky, they're going to play physical defense, and they can score points. So in my opinion, Jay, I think you look at Kentucky with Ole Miss right there on their tail, and the only reason why I have Kentucky is because of the ability to actually play a sound defense.
Yeah. I'm going to go in a little bit of different order. I think it's Auburn. I think Auburn, if I look at the team that gave us the best matchup and the most problems, I mean, I'm looking at Auburn. I mean, they were, a couple of drop passes and, away from it being 17-10 at the half, and then them coming out there with the ball. And, Bo Nix, kind of, did Bo Nix things. He'd have good plays here, and then he'd fall apart. Defensively, they were actually pretty good. So I would go right now. I think if Auburn and Kentucky match up, I think Auburn may edge them. But somebody said, that they think that Auburn may win the Iron Bowl. It was Jay. I agree with you. I think Auburn does win. I think they do win the Iron Bowl this year. I think that defensively, they will be able to match up very well with Alabama's offensive line. And Alabama hadn't stopped anybody this year. I mean, they just haven't. And I just think that, Auburn wants it this year. Florida exposed Alabama for everybody to say, you know what, we're not afraid. We're not afraid anymore. And obviously, Texas A&M said we're not afraid, and they went right after them. So I wouldn't be shocked, but I would pick Auburn.
Yeah, I mean, I see your argument. I think either one of those teams you could put there, right? That just tells me that just shows you how big the gap is between Georgia, Bama, and then the rest of the SEC. But also Patrick here, Juan, he's specifically calling you out, my man. He says, being a DGD yourself, who do you see being the other three playoff teams?
Well, first and foremost, if Cincinnati beats SMU, I think SMU right now they're undefeated. They're gonna be in just by default. And that's going to be one of those situations where, if they don't get in, the nation is pretty much gonna cry and be upset about it. I see Ohio State coming out of the Big Ten. I don't see, for some weird reason, I don't see Oklahoma making it. I would go with Oregon. I think Oregon wins the Pac-12, and I think it'll be Georgia. I think it'll be number 2 will probably be, I think Ohio State's going to come out of nowhere, be number 2. Number 3 is going to be Oregon, and I think number 4 will be Cincinnati.
I'm going to go here as well. I know Patrick didn't ask for mine, but I think looking at Georgia here, I think Georgia has to win. I think we've honestly at this point, unless you look at losing out the rest of the way, I genuinely think that Georgia has earned their spot in the playoffs. I think if we beat Florida and then we take care of business, look, I'm not sleeping on Kentucky this year because of how offensively well. Now, they haven't played us defensively, but I'm just saying, once you get that right there, Charleston Southern and Georgia Tech, I'm not too concerned about. So SEC championship game, I'm looking there. I don't want to look too far ahead, but that is what it is. Looking at it, I'm calling Georgia. You know what? I'm going to take out of the Big Ten Michigan. As crazy as it sounds, I think Michigan beats Ohio State this year. But the Big Ten, the thing about the Big Ten is all these top 10 teams in the Big Ten have yet to play each other. Michigan State, Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State. They've still yet to play each other. So that's going to, whatever happens, whoever comes out of the, out of the smoke with, just dust on them rather than everybody else, that's gonna be your playoff right there. Look, it's not a far-fetched to say. The hell, you can really look at Michigan State. I don't think it happens, but Mel Tucker's got that team rocking right now. But looking at that right there, I'm with you. I don't think Oklahoma. I see the change. I think it's an upgrade having Caleb Williams. I don't know if I won't there yet. I feel like you have to worry about Oklahoma State. Mm-hmm. That game still with Oklahoma State is going to be tough. So I look at Michigan, Cincinnati, Georgia, and then give me Oregon. I just don't know. Oregon would get murdered, but give me Oregon. Give me Oregon. I mean, look, I think right there you get that blend of all facets of the country, right? You get the South, you get the North, the Midwest, the West Coast. Make college football fun again. That's how you do it right there.
It's
Oregon's got to take care of business.
Yeah, it's a down year for most of those dominant teams. And, if we're being honest, you got Georgia is number one. Georgia's second team is number two. The scout team is three. And then everybody else just kind of falls in, there. So, yeah, it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to hurt Alabama, the fact that they've already lost a game. And I see them losing, if they do make it to the SEC championship, they'll have 2 losses. Will they be one of the top teams? I do think that they would easily beat Oregon. I think that they would beat Ohio State, or maybe Michigan. And I also think that they would beat Cincinnati. However, I just don't see them leaping over those guys to get in. The ACC is completely out. I mean,
Yep. I'll look, no discredit to Wake Forest,
disaster,
or NC State.
Yeah,
but Clemson was your flagship, and once Georgia exposed them, there's no saving you. I'm sorry.
Yep, that's it.
Jay also says he definitely sees 1 or 2 loss teams in the playoffs this year. I don't know about that. I could maybe see your 1-team playoff, your 1-loss team, your 2-loss teams when we expand. That's when you're going to see that. But for me, I get your point, but I just don't see it. I could see a 1-loss team. I think you're going to see a 1-loss team in there, but
yeah,
I mean, if Oklahoma beats Oklahoma State and goes undefeated, they're a different team with Caleb Williams there. Very similar. I feel like I've read this story before. One quarterback comes in and plays for most of the season, and then the second one comes in and it's a completely different team. Does that sound familiar, Juan?
Yeah, right.
Look, they're a better team right now with Caleb Williams. He's provided that spark, and as long as they keep their defense and their defense gets better, they have to get better on defense. If they beat Oklahoma State, then they're going to get that playoff spot over Oregon.
Yeah, agreed.
Let's see. Jay also says Big 10 and Big 12 haven't played meat of schedule yet. Pac-12 champ will have 2 losses also. Oregon lost to Stanford, wasn't it?
Yep. And yeah, that's their only loss. I think that's their only loss so far.
If Oregon wins out, if Oregon wins out, I think you have to look at Oklahoma taking a loss for them to not make it in, or everybody in the Big 10 just kind of shits the bed. But even then, I would take the Big 10 1 loss over Oregon, unless it's Ohio State. Then I give it to Oregon.
Right, exactly.
So
exactly.
Looking at, and honestly, Oregon has been a different team since they lost Kayvon Thibodeau. Let's be honest, that kid was a difference maker, and he was a legitimate X factor for that defense. But they got 2 guys at Georgia. If you don't remember this one, Justin Flo and what's his name? Noah Sewell. Sewell was really big on Georgia before he took his talents to Oregon. But that linebacking core is nasty with Flo and Sewell. So that defense is a lot more stout than people would think and give them credit for. But I think it fends to the offensive side of the ball for them to really find that balance to be that playoff contending team. But like I said, if Oklahoma beats Oklahoma State, then I think you have to give it to Oklahoma, bearing any kind of blunder, right?
Right.
But let's be honest, if they make it in as a 4 and Georgia's still number 1, this is not your Rose Bowl. This is not the Rose Bowl. It's going to be ugly.
Yeah, it's going to be bad.
It would be ugly. It would be ugly. Look, I don't see any more questions here. We're going to wrap this thing up, man. We're going to come back tomorrow. Look, obviously still the bye week. I don't want to get too much involved with the Florida situation. We'll figure something out, but it's going to be hot and juicy. I'm telling you that right now. It really is.
Yes, sir.
So, honestly, we're probably going to be talking more about recruiting now. Honestly, let's make this a recruiting show. I think it makes sense. We'll take a deep dive into what Georgia's bringing in for the 2022 class. Look, I think with the momentum that Georgia has right now, honestly, by this time tomorrow, we're probably going to have to add a name to 23 commits probably. So I think it's worth looking at it and maybe how these guys are expected to come in and what we expect out of them, bearing that they sign, right? That they sign.
Right, exactly.
Because anything can happen, guys. This flip season, y'all see it. Georgia's putting that on notice right now.
Yes, indeed.
On that note, guys, look, Brigade, thank you for coming out. making it hot and heavy, easy discussion, best movement in the land, all the land. I don't care what you call it, in the world, in the world. With that being said, though, guys, I hope everybody has a great day, and go Dogs.
Go Dogs.